Hey everyone, this is Mikedot with OnRPG.com, and welcome to another episode of OnRPG's Kicktracker Report, a monthly web series focused on Kickstarter gaming projects that you should know about. For those that are new to the show, each month I go over a handful of new and ongoing crowdfunding campaigns, take a quick look back at campaigns from previous episodes, as well as give some insight on what makes these indie projects so special. To get started for the month of May 2015, Hanako, Soul of the Samurai from Impact Studios unfortunately failed to meet its $70,000 base goal. Despite the Kickstarter campaign being unsuccessful, the project lead at Impact Studios states that development for the game will still proceed as planned. They also have plans to participate at a fan convention known as MomoCon 2015, where they'll have their games showcased alongside other indie titles in the convention's first ever Indie Game Awards, which will hopefully give Hanako some extra exposure to the public. As they continue to develop the game, they plan to showcase more of their progress on their official website, as well as the consideration for a second Kickstarter campaign in the future. This next Kickstarter project comes from indie studio Snowforged Entertainment. This game is known as Starfall Tactics, a next-gen space RTS that takes influences from classic RTS games, 4X strategy games, traditional war games, and so much more, all mixed together with a sci-fi presentation thanks to the power of the Unreal 4 engine. Some of the biggest features for this game include skill-based strategy, such as being able to dodge missiles or destroy specific parts of an enemy ship to gain a tactical advantage. There will also be a ton of ship customization options, allowing players to create different ships suitable for many different playstyles. And lastly, the biggest feature for this game is the Galaxy Conquest mode, which will allow tons of players to participate in an online world filled with warring factions, pirates, mercenaries, and of course other hostile players. Now personally, while I'm not a huge fan of RTS games, I could see myself giving this one a try because it has an element of reactive skill-based gameplay, which is something that I rarely see in RTS games. Just the fact that you can manually react to enemy attacks like dodging homing missiles is just a really cool idea. And it makes battles just more intense since it won't just be about seeing who can micromanage their units faster. But anyway, this game is planned to be supported with a free-to-play business model, which will allow players to purchase extra content in the form of booster packs, which will most likely be things like extra spaceship units, progress boosters, and more. However, the dev team at Snowforge also promises to give out booster packs to regular and frequent players. I just like to say that they have a very clear design philosophy in mind with the free-to-play business model, which is more than I can say for a lot of free-to-play games out there, so I have a lot of faith that this game in particular will handle free-to-play well enough. If it gets funded, of course. This Kickstarter campaign ends on June 11th, 2015. Another RTS title that's currently on our radar comes from indie studio InnoFame called Empyrean Rule: Rise of the Ancients. Inspired by open world and fantasy titles, Empyrean Rule contains a massive open world for players to explore, mixed in with grand strategy gameplay similar to the ever popular Total War series. The game world is completely persistent and constantly changing, even when the player isn't logged on. Between the unique skill trees, custom army options, political systems, and more, Empyrean Rule has everything an RTS fan could ever dream of. My personal favorite feature in this game includes the various races and the racial synergy system. Some of the races in the game aren't too fond of each other, such as the Dark Elves and the Orc races. They completely hate each other, but you can have both of these races in your army anyway, which I find pretty amusing because they also state that the players can expect unpleasant surprises on the battlefield if you have units in your army that either dislike or hate each other. So I just have this idea in my head that if you have an army full of orcs and dark elves together, that they would probably spend more time fighting each other than fighting whatever enemies that I'm up against. Now, why anyone would want that kind of army is anyone's guess, but hey, I think this could lead to some amusing situations on the battlefield. Anyway, at the time of this recording, this game currently has only 18% of its $40,000 funding goal reached. And with only 14 days left, this campaign has some serious ground to cover. This campaign ends on May 28th, 2015. Now, this next Kickstarter campaign comes from R8 Games, and it's called Formula Fusion, a futuristic anti-gravity racing game which focuses on fast-paced action and explosive combat. Now, I know a lot of you are probably looking at this and saying to yourself, this game looks just like Wipeout. And you'd be right, because several developers from R8 Games have also worked on the original Wipeout games for the PlayStation and PC. Now, this game plans to feature 21 unique racetracks, craft customization, as well as a single-player, split-screen, and online multiplayer. Now, as much as I like the original Wipeout games, since the original came out on PC as well as the PlayStation 3 release for Wipeout HD, the thing is about this Formula Fusion game is that it looks a bit too much like Wipeout in terms of style and atmosphere, and the gameplay just seems to be a carbon copy of Wipeout without providing anything new or unique. Now, don't get me wrong, video games don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel in order to be fun, but I personally feel that this game should include something else, something that will truly make it stand out from its predecessors. Otherwise, I feel like Formula Fusion will not have much of a lasting appeal towards anyone except die-hard Wipeout fans. Now, at the time of this recording, they've already reached their $52,000 goal, but no extra stretch goals have been announced. This campaign ends on May 23rd, 2015. Last up on our list comes a PvP sandbox MMO from Fairy Tale Distillery called Das Tal. Now, this is a game made for PvP fans by PvP fans, as the gameplay is focused on open world, skill-based combat, survival, player looting, and siege warfare. Unlike open world PvP in other MMOs where death merely amounts to broken equipment and some wasted time, combat in Das Tal is all about making meaningful choices, because every enemy that you kill and every corpse that you loot can affect open world resources, political standings, and other elements that are completely shaped by the players. One of the more interesting aspects regarding combat is that all the attacks have friendly fire enabled on them, so players will have to carefully position themselves in order to attack enemies without harming allies in the process. The world of Das Tal is also randomly generated, so players will be able to experience a variety of environments and weather conditions each time that they play. But the best part about the game is that they also plan to host several different servers with custom rule sets. So if players want to disable features or tweak gameplay elements, they will be free to do so. Now, I've had my eye on this game for a couple of months now, and I gotta say that the visual style has become very distinctive. And the gameplay, I'm sure, is sure to go well over with fans of MOBAs, because every attack works like a skill shot. And now, I've been waiting to try a sandbox MMO like this for a while, and I'm just curious to give this one a try, so I really hope this campaign succeeds. With their current base funding goal of $55,000 and less than 28 days to go, this campaign ends on June 10th, 2015. And that's all the time I have for this news recap. And if you'd like to learn more about the games featured in this video, just check out the links in the description below. But don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for next month's episode. This is Mikedot saying over and out.